Welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you guys are at. Because we have a lot of our audience that's also watching us from overseas. They're in Italy, they're in Spain. We've been in contact with many of them from overseas. So sometimes they're 5-6 hours behind. But we have a class today that is very, very important in a realtor's life. It's called Contract Laws, Financing Laws. What are the steps that we must know? There's no questions, ifs, answers, or buts about it. Okay. So we're going to go over everything in the aspect of knowing what to do and at what point to do it. Contracts have 6 very important dates. To me, they have 7. This is just in my book alone. You guys are going to see the 7th date today, and but they truly have 6 dates. Your clients cannot fall out of contract. If they fall out of one of those dates, what happens? They are in default of contract, correct? They are in breach of contract. And nowadays, with such a competitive market that we're dealing with, guess what's going to happen? There's either a backup offer or a greater offer, someone who's offering more money, and honestly, is the seller required to extend like an approval date? No, they're not. They're not required at all to give you an extension. So it's our responsibility to be on top of this file from the beginning all the way to the very end to make sure if we're coming up upon one of those dates that we get an extension. Or even if we don't get an extension, let's try to find out why. Let's try to find out why, we can't comply or meet with this date. And that's where, guess what comes in? That's where how to pre-qualify a client. So I tell our realtors here at Partnership Realty all the time, we must know every single thing there is to know about financing. That's why we do classes every single Wednesday with one of our preferred lenders. We got 28 lenders here in our office. We got 5 in-house here, 5 in-house lenders in here, but we still work with 28 different lenders. They're all going to give you all the different programs they've got, their niche programs, and then you guys are going to need to know by asking a couple of questions to your client and finding out if they qualify or not. Are they matched up with the right lender? Because it could be an issue with the credit score. Their credit score might be below the minimum that lender might take. Their job might not have exactly the 24 months required. Their job might have irregularities, meaning that they bounced in the last 2 years, they bounced out of 6 jobs. They have been in 6 jobs in the last 2 years. That's kind of unstable, isn't it? Well, FHA allows it, So, I mean, DTIs, debt to income ratios. There are so many factors that you guys must know. And not only that, not just the fact that you must know, you want to know it as a professional. You want to know it because if you go to a mortgage broker, the mortgage broker says, oh, they don't qualify, you want to know why. Well, listen, I talked to them already. They've got good scores. They got 680 scores. They've been in their job for 3-4 years, W-2 employees. They make, $60,000, $70,000. They don't have that much debt. So what is it that you don't like about them? So I've heard many lenders will say something like, well, we won't go below 620 score. Okay, well, your client has a 617. Oh, okay, well, lender, thank you very much. That's why I'm going to go to the other lender that will go with the 617 score. You need to know these items. They're very important. Now, I want to ask you guys another question here. Are realtors responsible for mortgages to make sure the mortgage goes through and gets approved and all that? Are you guys? Well, if you guys don't want to answer, you're not, right? Because you're not you didn't get a loan officer license. You didn't get a mortgage lender's license. I totally agree with that one. You're right. So you don't do mortgages, but you're still responsible for the mortgage. You don't do the LOs. You're not an LO. You don't get compensated from them, but you're still responsible for the mortgage. Why? Because you're responsible for the contract. And you need to know every single step that's going on in the mortgage business to be able to know how to control that contract. Because who's responsible for the contract? The mortgage lender or the realtor? Absolutely. So why would you tell me that you don't want to know anything about mortgages when I want to know everything about the mortgages? I want to know exactly, if you're the mortgage lender, I want to know exactly what's going on at all given time. One thing that a mortgage lender does is, sorry, a realtor does is they hand the file over once it's under contract, correct? They hand it over to the loan officer, and then you don't hear from them anymore. They'll never contact that mortgage lender. You guys as realtors, the ones that are watching as well too, you guys need to contact that loan officer on a weekly basis, if not twice on a weekly basis. Because I told you guys, there are 7 important dates in a contract. 7 important dates, okay? Guess what the 7th one is? Your commission. Payday. So in order to get to that 7th day that we're going to go about it over in a couple minutes, you got to go through these 6. You got to go through these 6 steps to get to there. All right, so how much do you want to know now about mortgages? Everything. Because I want to make it to what? I want to make it here. You know. All right, but then it's not just that, it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to be on top of that file, know what we're doing, because sometimes from one purchase, there are 2 and 3 other transactions riding on your initial purchase. Do you know how many people you're putting their money at risk? Oh, and the loan officer as well too is putting the money at risk. Their seller, for example, if you represent a buyer, and a seller is now having to either rent or they're going to have to purchase somewhere else. So they have to put a deposit, sometimes of $25,000 to $150,000 down. Now, who's putting the seller's money at risk? I think the loan officer and myself as a realtor. I should know what I'm doing, correct? Now, that seller is now becoming a buyer with someone else, and I've seen this dominoes effect in about 4 transactions out of 1. Yeah. No, I was involved in a transaction where, you know, we had part in all 4 of them. So, I mean, how important is that? I mean, it's super important. So let me guys just show you where the 7 most important dates the document is at. This document needs to be in front of all your transactions. If you're dealing with 1 transaction per month or 2 transactions per month, it still needs to be the first page of that transaction. Why? Because it's got all the dates on it. You're going to see it. And if it's not in sight, it's out of mind. So out of sight, out of mind, someone's going to get in trouble. So it has to be there physically that you can actually see it. I mean, I've got realtors that have boards. They got these dry boards, and they've got it all set up, which I can even help you guys and show you how to categorize everything. And when you're dealing with 10, 15, 20 transactions per month, or even 30 transactions per month, you need to see those dates. And you want to see them on a huge billboard, one of those dry boards, on your home office wall. Because again, out of sight, out of mind, it's going to get people in trouble. And guess what you don't need is trouble. We don't want trouble either. So let's just do things correctly. Let's be on top of the ball. Let's see what we're doing. Let's know what we're doing, and so forth. So you guys got 2 ways of finding this. If you go into Matrix, correct? The ones, oh darn it, I don't have any internet, do I? Let me see Flex. Shoot, what happened here? I have no internet? Let me try it one more time. Well, do we have internet? Do we have internet? Nosotros? Open the door. Yeah, it just came up. It just came. I don't know what happened. It just came up. No, but we usually don't have any issues. Maybe it was down for a sec or something. But anyway, let's open up your forms right here. This is your dashboard. So some of you guys work with Matrix and other you guys work with Form Simplicity. I mean with Flex, okay? So I'm just going to Matrix first. And I'm going to show you exactly where you're going to find all these forms. So right here on this right-hand side, you're going to come here and it says right there, Forms Simplicity. See it right there, guys? So just click on Form Simplicity. And it's going to be the same identical thing for Flex. And let's open it up in a quick sec right here. See up here on this green tab where it says blank forms. Let's open that up. And then it's going to open up again form packages right there. Open up form packages. Now, this right here is going to be all your form packages of Partnership Realty. You guys don't need to go find anything. It's here. It's already been designed for you guys to find it. I have a lot of realtors that call me and they'll ask me, where is such and such an item? Something that I tell all the realtors, and I repeat this in all my classes, because I figure if I repeat it enough, sometime it might stick. You guys really need to go through all this and know what you've got. It takes about 30 minutes. God, that's 30 minutes of advancing your career, your real estate career, to another level. Of not having to call me up, and I could be in a class, I could be doing a video, I could be doing God knows what, and then you're going to take hours to get an answer back from me, or you can contact one of our managers, and they might be busy as well too. Why? When it's right here, it's in your fingertips. So everything is right here. But look at this. The very first one that I've got, well, sorry, that's our transaction fee right there. But right down here, it says 7 most important dates. You guys see it? Let's click on it. And here it is, the 7 most important dates. So what do you want to do? Just, this document is extremely important for you guys. Just download it, grab it like this, and just put it on your desktop. And you're going to create this to be part of your folder. So whatever folder, whatever you're dealing with, and let's say that your property address starts at 1663. There it is. I'm saving it to where? Desktop. So let's just save it. I'm going to minimize it, and it's going to be right here, 1663. Okay. So if you're going to open up, I just want to close the current one. If you're going to open up a folder, for example, and the address is 1663 South Congress, I'm just using our office address as a, just as an example. Grab it, drag it in there, and here it is. Now you're going to start putting in here everything, every single item that is involved in this transaction goes where? Inside this folder, correct? We are a paperless industry. You guys can be living anywhere, or you can be on vacation and the file closed. The file closed. You guys know that you do get paid at closing with us, or even if one of our transaction coordinators, if they go to your file and they give you a hand check, they give them a check that's actually provided to them. They're going to put that check into your account. So we're going to make sure it goes right into your account. So you can be, I don't know, you can be in Italy. You can be, we were just talking about Dominican Republic a couple of minutes ago. You can be anywhere in the world. You open this up, you open this folder up, and click on everything, correct? Click on everything, and you just email it directly to us. And you go on your online banking, and you're going to see that your check was deposited into your account. How easy is that? But what if you're right here in Miami, or in Fort Lauderdale, in Wellington, in Port St. Lucie, in Orlando, in Jacksonville, in Tampa? It's the same thing. As long as you've got internet, I can't make it, it cannot, our system can't be any simpler than that. Every single thing is going to go inside where? That folder. And you're just going to copy paste that folder, copy, and just send it directly to our payroll, but everything needs to go in there. So 7 most important dates. Let's go over this here for a second. Before you write up a contract, this form needs to be filled out. Because how are you going to write these dates into the contract if you don't know the dates? So we're using as an example here, today happens to be the 11th. So let's say we wrote up, we're going to write up an offer for a property, and we wrote it up on the 10th or on the 9th, and we're going to give them 3 days of acceptance date. So let's say it went under contract on the 12th. So look at this, the effective date, which is the date that it got signed on, okay, that everyone signed, buyer, seller, and so forth, is on 7/12/23. Second one, if you're selling a condo, or if you're selling a property that's got an HOA, You guys know there are rules and regulations. There are bylaws, and these bylaws come out when? They come out at the end of the year, the previous year. Okay? So it's got to be there. A good listing agent will upload it, and they'll have it right there under attachments in the MLS where you'll see the bylaws. Now, those bylaws must be given to your client within how many days? They've got how many days to read it and go through it to make sure that that's the property they want to buy, that it fits their needs, that it meets all of their needs, correct? And they've got 3 business days. So if the property went under contract on 7/12, then we must have an answer to the listing agent and their seller by when? 7/13. Correct? That's 3 business days. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What happens if this listing agent did not put these bylaws up? Oh, wait a second before I go there. Do you guys know what the bylaws are? And do you guys know what condo docs are? Because people confuse condo docs with bylaws.
Is it the same, the rules and regulations for the community?
The rules and the current rules and regulations, the current ones from 2022 that were just passed November or December of 2022. Now they're in effect of 2023. Those are the current rules and regulations, also known as what? The bylaws. Condo docs is when the initial person purchased the property. They're about this thick. It's a book. Yeah. Now those those condo docs will not be given to the buyer until the day of closing. But what if they want it? Well, maybe we could ask them for it. Sometimes homeowners have purchased the property and they were not provided the condo docs. But you guys can, they don't have them to give them to you. You guys can actually go to the HOA, to the management company, and ask for them. They're going to probably charge you for it, $25. I've seen $75, but you can request it, okay? But they must be provided to the buyer of that property at the time of closing. But we're not talking about condo docs here. What are we talking about? Bylaws, which is the same thing as what? Rules and regulations. So you guys know that, for example, what if in those bylaws they changed it? It used to be where they would allow, let's just go for a 55 and older community, okay? And they allowed one person to be 55 and older, and then, now everybody must be 55 and older. And one of the spouse is actually not 55 yet, it's 54. Big major problem. If you guys didn't provide this, they didn't read this, can you imagine? Buyer can't get out. Now the buyer can't even buy. The buyer can't even buy there because the new rules say that everybody must be 55 and older. And what if this property is a very desirable property and it's going to sell quick? So the seller wants to sell. The seller doesn't want to give you an extension until your spouse, which is 8 months from now, turns 55. Do you really think the seller's going to wait? Oh, no, because the seller probably has a property that they also want to buy and they don't want to miss out on it. So who should be responsible of making sure that your client gets this? All right, so let's go into a couple different scenarios. So what if they did not, the listing agent did not post it in the MLS and it's not under attachments? Well, go to a similar property that's either active, contingent, or just sold in the last couple of months. I will assure you that every single realtor is not the same. You will find other realtors that, guess what, they do their jobs correctly. So you'll find the bylaws there. So what if it's one of these communities that doesn't sell a lot? There are communities, I'm telling you, there's some communities that there isn't a lot of activity there. There hasn't been sold. What does a realtor do? The buyer's agent. Well, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to go see the management company. I'm going to go see the HOA and I'm going to see if I can get a copy of it. even if I have to pay for it, but I need to provide it to my buyer. I need to provide it for my buyer. Okay, so what if you go into one of these really small communities that, for example, you know, it's one of these communities where they don't have a management company, the HOA, or people who actually live there. And some of them are not even here in the, in Florida. Some of them are in New York, some of them and you have a really hard time getting a hold of them. Maybe talk to a neighbor, knock on the door, a neighbor's door or something like that. See if they might have it. Try to get a hold of them. But I've seen in scenarios in the past where our realtors have had a hard time and they can't track these people down. They just can't. They won't answer their phones. They have gotten their phone numbers. They just won't answer. You can't force them to answer. So then we really need to talk to our client and say, ma'am, sir, or folks, you know, what do you want to do? You know, I mean, we've got a scenario, and you know, you're going to have to make a decision because you only have three business days. Okay, would you like to continue on with the purchase of this? But you know, you're taking a risk there because you have a dog that, for example, how big is your dog? Oh no, it doesn't weigh a lot. The dog's like 16 pounds, but in your eyes, the dog's like 36 pounds. You know, I don't know. I'm just giving you some exaggerated scenarios, but listen, when it comes down to bylaws and condos and HOAs and stuff like that, there are so many freaking scenarios that you're going to see them. All right, maybe I used the wrong example, but there are so many of them. And if you guys don't look into this, you don't ask the right question. How many children? Do they live with you? Okay, they don't live with you. Will they be living with you? Will they be living with you? Okay, you've got so many questions that you must ask. Okay, how many cars do you guys have? Oh, you have 2 cars. Well, they only have one assigned parking space. Now you need to find out if the other spouse can use one of the guests. Correct. Thank you. Mm-hmm. You know, what if find out, are you going to live there, or are you going to be? This is an investment property. You know, maybe they don't allow investments in there, any rentals, and maybe they do allow rentals, but you have to own it for a year. There are so many scenarios that you guys need to ask. Okay, so this needs to be all written down because this is, again, look at this. If I do this here, it's out of sight, man. Right? Who's responsible for that? I think you are. I think we are. So it cannot be out of sight. I don't care if you have a hard copy file, it's going to be on the outside of my vanilla envelope, stapled. I'm going to be looking at it. And I really seriously hope that I've got 10 files or 5 files and I've got them sitting like this on top of my desk. I've got them sitting like this. So I'm watching every single file. Because do the math, 5 transactions closing now in July or in August, that's a nice commission, isn't it? But in order for you to make it to the 7th one, you're going to have to go through these 6. You're going to have to go through it. If not, you're not going to make it there. Okay? So that's how important this stuff is. But again, it's not just important for the 7th commission. It's important for the responsibility that we've got to our client and everybody surrounding, the listing agent, the seller, and so forth. Everybody, title company, mortgage company, we have a responsibility to so many people. Any questions on, did you guys see this? I put this in must, in red. So any questions on the bylaws? This is really important. This is something that, you know, if you, okay, here, let me give you guys an example. There is a lady that closing is literally what, 4 or 5 days from now, right? So you're all totally excited. You're like, oh my God, I'm at number 7. I'm gonna make my commission. So celebrate. You know, yeah. And the lady, for some odd reason, decides, I don't want to buy. I just don't want to buy. Ma'am, why don't you want to buy? I changed my heart. Okay, listen, you're under contract. These hearts can't be changed like that. You've got to give me a legitimate reason why you want a heart. And now, usually what these legitimate reasons are is that they met their sister, their cousin, their friend, their brother, I don't know, and they go, cousin, are you seriously buying in that neighborhood? Are you serious? No way, man. Get out of there. Come and buy in my neighborhood. Okay? So here you are, you're thinking, you're almost at number 7, 4 days away, you're doing a closing. And, well, closing didn't come through, the lady didn't want to buy, right? So now they're going after their escrow deposit, right? Because the lady's in breach of contract. The lady's in total breach of contract. Why am I using a lady in this example? Why? Yeah. Thank God I think about everything, right? I don't want you guys taking me to court, you know? I want to use a guy. I want to use Angel. He's my buddy. He will never do anything to me. I mean, forget it. You're the bad guy. I am not using a lady. Scratch lady. Okay. Jury, you didn't hear that. That is completely scratched. All right? So we are using a guy, and his name is Angel. Right there. Yeah. No, I don't know. Why am I using a lady? Que abusador. Oh, that was Spanish. That's terrible. All right. So I'm using a guy on this one. 4 days from now, he doesn't want to buy. So he takes off. Now, guess what? The seller's angry because the seller put a deposit somewhere else. Seller, you put $25,000, $30,000. Now his money or their money is at risk, correct? Because Angel decides he doesn't want to buy. Oh my God, Angel, seriously, think about this, man. You need to go to an attorney and look into this. So the attorney's going to go, all right, well, let me take a look at the entire file. And Angel goes, well, I only have certain items. So they're going to ask me for the file. I'm going to give them the file. And inside that file, if those bylaws are not in there, and she wasn't given those bylaws, does Angel have because he wasn't given the bylaws, does Angel have a right to get out? Does he have a right to, not to buy? Because he wasn't provided this. Now, Angel's going to lose his escrow deposit with the seller, trust me. But Angel's going to come after who? The realtor who never gave him the bylaws. See what I mean? So make sure that when you give him the bylaws and you either get a text, an email, or something in writing, I received the bylaws. Oh, did you read the bylaws? How about that one? Yes, I did read it. It's in English. Do you read English? Yes, I had it translated. Excellent. Cover. Cover all your tracks. Okay. So this is something that's really very, very important. Okay. Because you think of these scenarios wouldn't happen. Oh my God, they do. Inspection dates. Here's a very third and very important date right there. Inspections, when you go under contract, they should be ordered the very same day. And if you go to an inspection company and they say to you, well, we're really busy. Oh, God bless you. I'm out. I'm going that way. I'm going to the other inspection company. So, listen, I've got a property under contract. I've only got 7 days for inspection period. You think you can get out there tomorrow? Yes, I can. I'm going with him. I'm going with him because inspection is time is of the essence. Okay? So that means that buyer has the right to be able to get out of purchasing this property in case they find anything, whether it's the community, whether it's the property, whether it's some deficiency in the home, whether it's whatever the case may be, okay? They have the right to do that. Now, you can't go to one of these inspection companies because they're so busy, okay? Good for them. I need to go to an inspection company who's going to get out there and do this ASAP because then they have to write it up and send it over. And then my client's going to have some time to be able to review it and figure out, do they want to purchase this or not under the conditions that it's under, correct? But maybe, they might have found some few things wrong with it, and all we have to do is just kind of renegotiate it with the listing agent. They know that there's a couple of little things wrong with it, you know. So let's try to get these items negotiated, fixed, probably get a credit to the buyer. And what if the listing agent says and speaks to his seller, and the seller goes, nope, I'm selling it as is. If they want a new home, they can buy, they can go see any of these new developers. But I'm selling it as is, triple is, quadruple is. He's got the right to do it. He doesn't have to give you guys a credit. If you want a new home, there's a bunch of new developments out there. You can go buy a brand new home, okay? So at this point, you have to talk to your buyer or buyers and figure out, ma'am, sir, folks, hey, do you guys, they're not going to give you credit for this. Do you guys want to continue on with this purchase under the conditions that it's under, you know? And sometimes I've seen where realtors have given a credit out of their commission because sometimes the sellers are, for example, investors. And they bought the home as is, and they're reselling it again as is. Okay, they're reselling it as is. So, you know, I've seen them where they don't. So I've seen, you know, our realtors give them you know, what's called a commission waiver, give them a credit back to try to keep the deal together, you know, and try to help out the client. You guys have the right to do that, you know, with your commission, okay? But we need to have this document done way before the 19th. So I put down, you know, the date, and that's got to go inside your contract. These dates are all going to go inside your contract. You can't write up the contract without knowing these dates. And we're going to go over the contract in a couple of minutes, or where they're actually going at. So let me ask you guys a question here. So what if for example, the inspection company sent this document in on the 20th, and now your buyer read it very quickly, okay, and said, oh my God, I don't want to buy the home because it's got all of these, you know, abnormalities, and I just don't want to buy the home. Can your buyer get out from buying this home on the 20th? You're out of contract. Now, the buyer is going to say, well, why didn't you tell me this, Realtor? Realtor, why didn't you tell me I had to have a decision made by the 19th? Oh, wait, not by the 19th at 9 o'clock p.m. Not by the 19th at 12 p.m. By the 19th, by almost the end of the business day. And not at, you know, 5:59, you know, so you don't wait to the, you know, or 4, you know, don't wait to the very last moment. Let's get this stuff done in a timely manner. Okay, let's get this done quickly. There should be no reason why we can't get an inspection done. For example, from the day they do the inspection, goes on the contract today, inspection's done tomorrow, we should have the full inspection report by the 3rd day. And your client and yourself should be able to reading it by the 4th day, and you should have a decision back to the listing agent by the 5th day. There's no reason that we could do all this in a very timely manner. It's just being on top of this. So no, if the on the inspection date, you know, we need this done. It can't be after the 20th. Your client is not going to be able to get out of this contract if they decide on the 20th or the 21st. Or what if it's like down the road, the 23rd, and they want to renegotiate because they want these items repaired? Do they have any right to get these items repaired? They don't. They passed what's called their due diligence date. They passed it. You can't renegotiate something now. You had 7 days. You had 5 days. You had 10 days. Careful with the 10 days on homes $500,000 and under, because I don't think that me as a seller, I would want to take my property off the market, correct? To see if you are going to decide to maybe buy my property. My property is going to be off the market, and I could probably lose a great potential buyer, you know, and you guys got 10 days. So I say no more than 5 and 7 days on, you know, but when you get into the, you know, 1.5 million, you know, $1 million homes, then yeah, sure, 10 days, something like that should be more than adequate. 5 million, you know, 15 days, and so forth. stuff like that. But not on a condo, $150,000 and things like that. 5 to 7 days should be more than enough. I mean, any inspector can get in there and see everything done very quickly. Now, during the inspection period, from right here from the beginning, you should have already ordered on the effective date what's called what? Seller's property disclosure. Because that seller's property disclosure is part of that inspection date, isn't it? They need to review it and go over it. Now, what if you have sellers that will tell you that, no, we are not going to provide you a seller's property disclosure? Because you've got investors. We deal with a lot of, I'm an investor, guys. We deal with a lot of investors that they buy these homes, they're foreclosures, and these properties were bought as is, and they're selling them as is. So now you need again to talk, you need to talk with your client. Are you okay? And how do we talk with them? Besides verbally, we need to do this by text or email. Are you okay with the purchase of this property, without the seller's property disclosure? Do you need to have an answer back, yes or no? Listen, if anything goes into any type of litigation, and then they say, well, I never did get the seller's property disclosure, who's on the hook? You guys are. You guys are on the hook for not getting it. But if I did tell you that I couldn't provide one because it's the buyer, and we can't force that seller to provide one. I mean, tell me, can you really force a seller to actually give you a seller's property disclosure? You cannot. Foreclosures, REOs, do you get seller's property disclosures or not? No, you don't. REOs and foreclosures, you don't get seller's property disclosure, right? But you want to get something in writing that the buyers are recognizing that there wasn't one. So these are steps that you guys must know, because believe me, these things do come up, okay? So now, let's say if it was a property without an HOA, then you wouldn't have to worry about number 4. But most properties do have HOAs, okay, or some do have HOAs. Now, when would you guys have that application? Usually those applications are already attached to the listing agreement, to the listing report, correct? So the application is going to be there with the checklist and the whole kit and caboodle, right? So you guys want to start to immediately have all that filled out, making sure you get all the required the items that the management company or the HOA is asking for, correct? But now, usually there's either $100 or $150 per person fee that's due to be able to, to do the background, evictions, credit report, and review the entire application. Are you going to turn that in around the 17th or the 18th or the 13th to the HOA? No, why would you do that? You don't know if your client's going to buy this property. Clients got up to the 19th to know if they're going to buy this property or not, correct? So you want to make sure you have it all done and ready to go. So when the client says, yes, I'm buying this property, then right there, that application is going to be turned in on 7/20. On 7/20. Now, most clients don't know the urgency. They don't know the urgency of this document being turned in a timely manner. Because sometimes they have to go through 2 approvals. They have to go through a management approval, then an HOA approval, okay? And sometimes these HOAs are really backed up, and sometimes these HOAs aren't even locally. These guys they live in others, in other states. And our closing's within 30 days. So let's get this in there immediately. And a lot of realtors will depend on the client taking it there. Okay, sir, ma'am, you need to take this on the 20th, tomorrow. You need to take it over there and drop it off. Well, what if their job did not allow them? They got really busy at the job, and here you are at 5, you call them up 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Hey, did you take the HOA application and drop everything off over there? No, I didn't. What happened? Well, man, I got really busy at work. Oh, we need to get that over there. We need to get that over there. Okay. Can you get over there tomorrow morning? Yeah, definitely. I'll get over there first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, they get called, and something happens at their job where they can't go again. You know how many times I've seen this? A ton of times, okay? You know what my response to this is? You as the realtor, grab the freaking documents, go and drop it off for them. Make it easier for them. Make it, to where they don't have to take time off for their job. This is our job. Make sure it's completely filled out. We got the money orders, we got everything, IDs, whatever the whole checklist says, okay? And go over there and drop it off. And then get the business card and even get the name of the person. Get the name of the person that you actually, and write in the back of the business cards. I turned it in to, I don't know, whoever. Susan. At 8:59 p.m. I don't know. A.M. Oh, I said p.m., right? What are you doing there at p.m.? Yeah, you started out early. So make sure this gets turned in on a timely manner, but the day after. But listen, it's not the 19th. What if our client made a decision on the 15th, right? That they're buying the home. So when are you going to turn it in? The 16th. Right? So it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. Turn in the date that they have already told you. I have decided to move forward with the purchase of this house under the conditions. So this is very important. Now, certificate of approvals. Certificate of approvals, you guys, for nothing in this freaking planet, or at least in the U.S., forget the planet, do not let somebody move in without them being approved. Okay? Do not let them move in. I don't care if this is for a rental, and I don't care if it's for a sale. Do not allow them to move in, and take occupancy of this property without them being approved. You don't know the damage this is going to cause. Some listing agents don't know what the heck they're doing, and some sellers don't either. Oh no, let them move out right in. No, I'm sorry, not until we get the certificate of approval. Are we clear on this, guys? I hope we're clear as daylight on this one. Because, you are getting yourself into a heap of a nightmare. What if they don't get approved? Who are they going to come after? Who is the bad guy here? Well, it was the listing agent that said, yeah, let them come on in. And the seller, yeah, not a problem. And you went right along with it. Again, who's the bad guy here? Listing agent, seller, or you from lack of knowledge? You from lack of knowledge. Okay? I don't care if it's a rental, and I don't care if it's a sell. And I don't care if you're the listing agent. No, they don't have a place to stay. I'm so sorry. I can't let them move in. I can't let. First of all, it's against every guideline, every bylaw, every rule, okay, and every law of the association. It's against them all. So you can't let them move in. Now, there are 3 different ways that they're going to give you a certificate of approval. Some of them, they just won't even give you one. They'll just approve them. But try to get an email or try to be there in person. And, get the person's card or name and write it down. Susan, gave me the approval. She told me that there wasn't any. And make sure it stays inside the folder on a blank piece of paper. Okay, HOA approval, handwritten by you. Susan, whatever her last name is, okay, who is, whatever her job title is, told us that we don't need a certificate of approval. What happens 8 months from now or 6 months from now? They do decide that certificate of approvals are required. And now your client, 2 years from now, they're going through their folder and file, and they go, oh, look at this. No, they're in there illegally without a certificate of approval. Do you guys see what you have to be doing? You have to be documenting everything. I don't care if it's a white piece of paper. I'm going to write down the date. I'm going to write down your name. I'm going to write down that you told me. And I'm going to write down who was present there, too. The buyer's name, the seller's name, and it's going to be right in there. Because that's what protects you guys. You guys do know that the problems don't arise the day after or 2 days after. Sometimes they arise 10 months later, 2 years later. You're in the legal world, guys. You guys are licensed by DBPR. You guys are professionals. We are professionals. So let's do things correctly as professionals, correct? Let's cover all of our ends. And so if they don't provide certificate of approvals, get an email, get a text, and if they don't send an email, they don't send a text, what are you gonna do? And I've seen realtors that have sent their clients there, not really from our office, but I've heard it from other office, okay? And they sent their clients there for the approval, and you know, the interview, I'm talking about the HOA interview, and they weren't present. Be present to everything, to your closing, to the HOA, everything. If there is a certificate of approval provided, make a copy of one, goes inside your file. This is for what? Rentals and sales, correct? If they provide just an email, print out the email. Print out the email, and where is it going to go? Inside your folder, okay? And you guys can take screenshots on your computer of the email. You don't even need to print it. Take a screenshot. Goes inside where? The folder that I showed you at the beginning of this class, okay? So any questions on HOA approvals? Oh, and that's the time to ask for, and remember something, that I've seen this quite a bit. Ask the right questions to your clients. Find out about their needs. Do they have children? Do they have pets? Are they going to be renting the property? Going to be living there? You need to find out. How do you find out if this development meets their needs? You have to call the HOA and ask the questions. Don't wait for them to tell them, oh, I'm sorry, at the HOA meeting. Don't wait for them to tell them, by the way, we do not allow rentals here. You got to own the property. We don't allow them, period. Or, you know, we don't allow them for a year. Boy, your client's going to be angry. See what I mean? Make sure you get all these questions prior to the HOA. Now, that's number 4. Number 5. Yeah.
Where does the estoppel come from?
The estoppel is going to come in from the title agency, which we'll go over that in a sec. Not in a sec, in a few minutes. The estoppel is going to come in from the title agency, but most of the questions you've already asked them. You've already asked them up front. Remember? Before we make it to number 4, which is the interview to see if your client's going to be approved or not, to be able to reside there, I want to ask all those questions prior to. So when the estoppel does come in, there's no surprises. I hate surprises, and so do clients. Okay? So we just need to do our job. We just need to do our job. We need to know our job first before we do our job. How you like those apples? You need to know your job first before you can do your job. So, you know, thank you the ones that are watching, and thank you the ones that are present here. This one here, number 5, is one that this is the most brain damaging one of all. This is the one that brings Tylenols to your medicine cabinets when you didn't have it. Advils, ibuprofens, what, 800 milligrams? Oh, you don't have to be going to the pharmacy and buying, what do you call, the dye for your hair, because you're getting all these white hairs, you know what I mean? This is the one that keeps you happy, young, and sleeping at nights. No gray hairs. Okay? Oh, wrinkles, yeah, whatever. All of them. This is the one that gets everyone the most amount of trouble. All right? Loan commitments. Loan commitments are done within 25 days. In this case here, it's August 7th. Now, the seller knows that they have accepted an offer or a contract that the buyer must be approved, okay, to get a loan by August 7th or before. So there needs to be a CTC. What is a CTC? Clear to close. Probably one of the most beautiful words that any realtor could hear. It's clear to close. You've got to clear to close. Boy, that realtor's going to have a smile on their face. Clear to close. Those are the most beautiful, words that you can hear. How about, yeah, we have an approval, but you need to find out is how many conditions are open. Your client needs to see that approval. You need to see that approval, and you need to see what outstanding conditions are still there. Now, very important to you guys. When we have a conditional approval, you guys must, you understand this? Must send an email to that lender, and the email must state identically to what I'm saying. Good morning, Mr. Loan Officer. Good morning, Mrs. Loan Officer. Thank you so much for the loan approval, but I do see that there are some outstanding conditions. Is our client, did you hear the key word? Our? Mm-hmm. It is our client. Our client. Is our client going to be able to meet these conditions per the closing date? You guys got to ask that in email. You guys got to ask it. All right? People think that once they get the loan, they get the loan approval. Oh, I got the loan approval. I sent it in. I already sent in the loan approval. Yeah, but did you look at the loan conditions that were still remaining? No. Did you ask the loan officer, is the client going to be able, or clients, going to be able to meet those loan conditions that are still outstanding? Because most of the times, and some of the times, they're not going to be able to meet them. So that loan approval is worthless. That's a worthless piece of paper. They're not going to be able to meet them. So let's find an alternative. Now we're still within time to try to save the loan. That's why we use 28 different lenders in Partnership Realty. Why? Because every single client's different, and depending on their needs, we need to find a lender that is going to be able to meet. No, their debt-to-income ratios are way too high. They're past our guidelines. Okay, so what is your guideline? 45% back end. All right, that's really nothing. That's 48% back end. That's really nothing. So I'm going to go to a lender and explain the whole scenario, because I know how to pre-qualify a client, right? And I go, I've got a DTI. It's at 52% back end. Can you actually save this file? Yes. You just save the file. You just save the file. Because there are lenders that won't go over 45% back end, 48% back end, 50% back end. So what if your client has a 53% back end? How about a 57% back end? Now, do you know how many loan officer guys? Let me help you with this one. I haven't done this in a while, but I think getting your LO license, does anyone have an LO license here? But I think it's what, 21 months? I mean, 21 hours? 21 hours?
I don't know, I did it in a month and a half.
20 hours. All right, so here you are. You just came, right out of, I'm not going to mention a job, but just mention any type of job, any line of work. Here you are, you went to school for 20 hours, and now you know what you're doing. You seriously know what you're doing with 20 hours of school, okay? 20 hours of school, and most of the stuff that they teach you there, it's got some validation, but truly, there are so many programs out there. So I gave my file to a loan officer who just, I'm licensed. I've got my LO license. Oh, phenomenal, fantastic. Does he really know all the guidelines? Even though they put him like 2 weeks of courses in class of reading, 2 weeks inside a classroom of watching these classes, and just you think you're gonna absorb everything you need to know? It's literally impossible. It's literally impossible. You're gonna leave from there with maybe 10, 15%. If you're really smart, 20, 30% of knowledge of what you're doing. But here you are, you've got a client that is at a 57% back-end ratio, and now we can save this file. If we're a good realtor and we know what we're doing, that's why we do classes every single Wednesday. There is a different lender out of our 28 lenders, and they will only come and teach you guys 1 or 2 programs at a time. They can't teach you all the programs because it's going to be overwhelming. So how important is to watch our classes on Wednesdays? Lending, 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 lending. Because you guys got to know about this. It's right here. Why? Because you're not going to make it to number 7. I already told you that. You're not going to make it unless you cross C6 path. Okay? So we can probably save it. I mean, we can use what's called compensating factors. What is compensating factors? They might have a 401k plan that they didn't even talk about it, and it's going to show excellent reserves. Okay? There are so many compensating factors that we can use, that we can actually use, okay, to save the file. We can get what's called a non-owner occupant. We can get a non-owner occupant. Sometimes the LO didn't even ask, did they have a second job? Or or are you married? I mean, you are married. How about your wife? Bring your wife or husband into it, or your partner into it. There are so many compensating factors that will help put this file together. Okay? So we must know all this. But let's get back into a conditional loan. We have to ask that question. And what's the question? Is our client going to be able to meet? And now, if that LO says, yes, he is, or yes, she is, or yes, they are, what does that take off of you guys? The responsibility. You did your job correctly. You found out. You followed this file from the beginning all the way to the very end. And now this took the responsibility off of what? Your shoulders. Because the loan officer told me, yes, they are. Yes, he is. Yes, she is. And now we get a denial letter right before the freaking closing date. Oh, wait. You guys seriously think I'm making all this stuff up, right? Oh, yeah. Keep dreaming. Come on. Keep dreaming, guys. Keep dreaming. This stuff happens weekly, monthly, yearly. A freaking denial letter right before the day of closing. And you were already counting on this. You already went to the Nissan dealership or to the Mercedes and go, I want that one. Okay, separate it. I will be back here. I will be here. Listen, I'll be here on Saturday. That one's mine. You got pictures, selfies, your whole family. You already brought your wife, my love. Do you know how great you're looking there? And the kids, Dad, they're in the back seat. They're in the back seat? Are you serious? Everyone's excited, including yourself, and you get a denial letter right before it. What? The salesman's calling, good morning, Mr. Castro. You won't even answer the phone. Because you got a denial letter. I'm busy, I can't talk. But listen, we're waiting. We've got the car cleaned up. It's already set to go. You'll be here like you promised, 10 a.m. Saturday morning, right? I'm really busy at the moment. I can't talk to you. Talk to my wife. Blame it on her. No, man. Guys, I'm telling you, this stuff happens. I might be kidding around, but I'm serious as a heart attack. It's not funny. It's not funny because that seller is totally going to be twisted. No, they're not going to be angry. They're going to be twisted. I mean, they're going to be like a tornado, man. They're going to be so angry. Because why? That seller went and put a deposit on another property, correct? They put a deposit on another property. And here we are. This stuff happens. We can't let these things happen. And if they do happen, at least it's not going to be on us. It's not going to be on our shoulders. So we need to find out. Okay, now we need to look at the loan conditions and read them. Get to see them, get to read them, see what they are. You know, are they an outrageous document that they're asking for? Or something that the client can't meet? And you might want to call up the client, hey, are you going to be able to meet this, and that? Yeah, you can. Okay, all right, go back to the Mercedes. Make sure it's shined, all right? I want a big bow on it. I want it on the hood because we will be there at 9:30. Okay, now you feel comfortable. You're even going to have a bow on that car, all right? Because now you know it's going to happen. But if you don't do your jobs correctly, forget the bow. Okay? So this is extremely important, guys. And I can't tell you where one lender, great lender, phenomenal lenders, but the problem is every single lender's got their own niche product, correct? One great lender has told me, yeah, this is a done deal, slam dunk, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, can't do it. Send it to a second lender, can't do it. Send it to the third lender, can't do it. Fourth lender, done deal. Because every single lending criteria is completely different, okay? And there are so many different programs out there. That's why we work with 28 different lenders, you know. So try to, 50%, I always say that 50% of to being a realtor, our success is knowing financing. Even though you don't want to do a loan. I don't want to do a loan. I had a conversation with the realtor yesterday, and well, I'm not going to get into that. Don't worry about it. Forget that one. Scratch. Take that one out. Jury. Scratch that one too. So, but anyway, we need to know 50% of our success comes from financing, knowing the financing laws, the programs, every single thing. And then the other portion is going to come in from contract laws. That's what we're going over today right now. Okay, super, super important. Any questions you guys might have on number 5? What's called the CTC, or a conditional loan approval. Do you guys have any questions on that? Yeah, Josh.
I was doing a loan some long time ago, and a week before the closing, we couldn't find the closing officer. She was hiding from her husband.
Yeah. Listen, we're all humans. We have divorces. We have separations. We have illnesses. We get sick. We die. All this stuff happens. Make sure you're with a legitimate company, that there is a supervisor that you can go to. Or there's an office manager that you can go to. Okay? Because God, things do happen. People go on vacation. There's loan officers that go, they actually go on vacation. Can you believe that? They actually go on vacation, and you've got a file writing, and there are 2 other files more based on that one. Are you serious?
Yeah.
They leave on vacation. I would want to find out where he went on vacation. I'm going to get a helicopter, show up over there. No, I'm kidding. I'd like to, but it's all in my mind.
Yeah, we have to get another company.
Listen, can I give you guys another tip here? And I'm not knocking. I am not knocking, Senor. I guess you. So, no. Hello, Edmund. Señor Edmund, no. Yo no cuento. Edmund. Yo te quiero mucho a ti también, Edmund. Oh my God. I'm watching everybody, and everyone's like, you know, here I am.
He said you had enough.
No, the guy just keeps going. I go, what? Edmund, an espresso? I'm like, are you seriously? No, I don't know. Look at it. Vaya. Me and Edmund will sit down. Edmund, come into my office, sit down. We're going to talk. Why them? You know, I'm the broker, you know. I don't know. I'm just joking. Edmund didn't care about me.
What recommendation you have for the people when you need to, for the deposit, for the wire transfer?
Oh, okay. Wire transfer? Okay.
Who is the responsibility? The realtor.
Yeah. Wire transfer, but I still want to go back into this very important question that I need you guys to do on number 5, okay?
All right.
All right, so let's go into wire transfer. Wire transfer right now, wire fraud is huge. When they send, please talk to your clients at all given time. Communication is everything, okay? When you get the wiring instructions, please, you guys, the realtors, verify and have your clients verify to call not the number on that they just sent that new email, because there's hackers out there left and freaking right, okay? And everything's the same, but if you look at it, the email's not the same and the phone number's not the same, okay? Everything is gonna match with ABC title and blah, 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 all of this stuff. But the email's not the same, the phone number's not the same. But to call the initial number, and then they have to re-verify it. The account number, the bank account number, routing number, before they send it. Now, at the time of closing, the very same thing again. Make sure, please, and I'm asking with the word please on this one here, okay, that both yourself and the client verifies, because you won't buy that car. I'm telling you, the money's going to be wired. I don't God knows where. That we're not going to be able to find it. Okay, and now we've got a major issue and problems in our hands.
That had happened?
This happens all the time.
Really?
But not from people that are taking the extra precaution steps. No, it's not happening, because we take those extra precaution steps. So it's not happening to us. It's happening to other people that do not do that. Okay? So we need to find out the bank, the account number, the routing number, the person that you're talking to. Call the original number, not the new email. Not the new email. That's a hacker. That's an actual hacker. Okay? So please, I'm asking with the word police on that one, that you guys must do that, okay? I don't know if you have any other questions on that, but I want to jump back into this so we can prevent number 5. Because number 5 is the biggest brain damager of all.
Yes.
All right, number 5. So one thing that I do when I know that you're going to come here, you're my client, and you're going to come in with your preferred lender. And one thing that I'm going to do is, I'm going to call up that preferred lender. I got the pre-approval letter, right? This is the pre-approval letter. At the bottom of it, whether it's on the right-hand corner or left-hand corner, it's going to be the LO's contact information and stuff like that. So I'm going to call that LO, and I'm going to ask them and see if they answer my phone call. What if this person really doesn't answer my call? That is certainly a bad sign to me, because I am responsible. I am responsible for that transaction. I am responsible to the listing agent, to the seller, to the title company. I am responsible, to the sellers purchasing the property from another person. I'm responsible for all that. And if that loan officer will not return my call, we really need, you and my client, we really need to talk about this. We really need to talk about communication is everything. We need to find out how the loan's progressing, how it's moving along, and so, because we have a responsibility to a lot of people. And besides, Mr. Buyer, your money's it's the one that's in danger here. It's not my money. I didn't put that $5,000, $15,000, or $25,000 there. It's your money. So your loan officer, I've been after him for the last couple of days. He has not answered a single email, not answered a single call, things like that. I would seriously think about doing business with someone like that. You know, I would seriously think about that. If that right there should be a red flag to you guys right from the beginning. Because I would love calling a loan officer and he answers my call. Not right when I call, but maybe an hour later, 2 hours later, by the end of the afternoon. And he gives me an update, you know, gives me an update and so forth. But that's a red flag, guys. That's a big red flag, okay? So, closing date. Voila.
Voila.
Here we are. We're almost to number 7. Yes, I know you guys are all you guys care about is number 7. I can see it in your eyes.
Oh my God.
I see it in your eyes. If we have to get an extension, because sometimes the lenders will order what's called a 4506T, and that is a tax transcript from IRS. And you know, we don't tell IRS what to do and when to do it. They do it on their own timely schedule, correct? So if we're waiting on everything's cleared except for the transcript from IRS, and we need to get an extension. Guys, you guys can't get an extension, and that extension cannot be for the loan commitment cannot be the same day of closing. There's got to be 2 extensions on one addendum. 2 extensions. One extension is for the loan commitment date, and you have to give it 1 day, and then 4 or 5 days later is the closing date. Got it? They can't land both on the same date. And I just gave you guys like the transcripts, the IRS transcripts as an example. But it could be just another paycheck or a payoff of a car, or God knows what the case may could be. Be something simple. And we just might need, 1 week or 10 days. But remember, we have to get 2 items. We have to get an extension for the loan commitment date, and then 4 or 5 days later, right? For what? For the closing date. All right. So we made it to the closing date. Here it is on August 14th. Actually, 30 days from the 12th, when I looked at it on the calendar, it landed on a Saturday or a Sunday. You cannot schedule a closing for a Saturday on a Sunday. You can't. So what I did was I put it for the 14th, which was the following Monday. Okay? But you can't write up the contract to where it says, you know, the closing date is going to be on a Saturday or Sunday. Then, folks, I don't know why I didn't change this. I should have changed this here. Sorry about that. I guess I was doing way too much stuff this morning. I actually did this morning. So actually forget that. The 15th, here you are, the 7th most important date in the contract to me. All right? Not inside the contract, it's outside the contract, but it's part of the contract. On August 14th, I will get my commission check. That's really important. Because you guys know here at Partnership Realty, you get paid at closing. You get paid right at closing. So very important here. You're going to be getting your check. But in order for you to make it to this date right here, you got to go through all these dates. So, well, we've got transaction coordinators here that they know these dates and they will not miss it. And if they are missing it, they're going to be getting an extension, and they'll handle everything for you because this job is tedious. Doing the administrative paperwork for a file, imagine 3 files, imagine 4 files, imagine 5 files. There's a young lady that's going to be doing a class on Thursday, okay, Suri de Leon. She's going to be here. Come in, ask her questions. She's one of our top one of the top realtors in the state of Florida. I mean, she's phenomenal. Okay, and what we did put on that transcript, I mean on that flyer that we put on there, she went from like selling 4 properties in 1 year to 62 properties the following year. Oh, do you want to come in here, meet her, ask her what she's got special, tell her, ask her that magic wand that she just hypnotizes people, right? Does she put something inside their water when they're not watching? Oh look, it's a JetBlue airplanes. Yeah, just, you know, I'm sure she's got all those tricks, right? Yeah. Nah, she doesn't. She's just a normal person like you and I. But she's going to be here. She's going to be here. It's in Spanish, though. But it's good to refresh it up on your Spanish. Okay? And ask her as many questions as you want. What the heck are you doing? How did you do it? Because she came from another agency that the most she sold was 4 freaking properties in 1 year. She came to Partnership Realty, 62 properties the following year. Wow. Now, I want you guys, the ones that are here today, if you're going to be here on on Thursday, I want you to tell me what she's got, because I'll be up here with her. But I want you guys to tell me what she's got that you guys don't have. Tell me. Come on. Those, you know, those God-given eyes that just, they numb you. Look at, sign. Without her saying sign, she's going to hypnotize you. You're going, right here, and I'm also going to give you a free Mercedes. Yeah, right. Yeah, keep dreaming, man. Keep dreaming. What does she have? Come up, talk to her. She's going to be here on Thursday.
Yes.
It's all over, 11:30.
11:30.
In Spanish.
Yeah.
Ask her. Ask her what she's done and know what she's doing. Then her boyfriend, I should have invited her boyfriend. Boy, he's a lucky guy. That guy, I mean, he's smart. He goes, selling 62, 70 homes per month. You know, and how are you? Romanced her immediately. Now the guy's killing it. He's doing exactly what she's doing, and he's killing it. I signed a DA for him today. You guys know what DA is, with disbursement authorization, so you guys can get paid at closing. I just signed one. He's got a closing tomorrow. Oh, nice commission, by the way. I should have invited him. I might invite him just to come in here, have him sit here, and I might bother him. I know why you got together with him, you know? Yeah. You think I don't? No, I'm not going to do that to him. He doesn't matter, because he's got a really good sense of humor. Guy's got a phenomenal sense of humor, you know? But the important thing is he's doing exactly what she's doing. Oh, wait. She's female. He's male. see, I don't know, how's he doing it? Only females can do this, right? Right? Guys, come on. We're smarter than that. Let's ask the questions. Let's find out what the heck she's doing. Then mimic her, duplicate her. It's not that hard. And it doesn't cost money to do it. Okay? I love to bring in her boyfriend and have her sit right there. Okay? The guy's killing it. But he's every time that I see one of his postings and stuff like that, it's identical to watching her, except in a male form. Why am I gonna start, doing what someone else is they're not successful, not doing nothing else? I'm gonna do what you're doing. What you're doing that works. Okay? So anyway, she'll be here on this Thursday at 11:30. Mm-hmm. Yep, she will be here. So let's go to this. Let's go to an as-is contract. We'll go over it real quick. Since you've got this, without this, you guys can't write this. You can't, because you need to know the dates, correct? And I'm just going to briefly go through this. So for an example here, we're just using, just a fictitious a buyer and seller. So we've got Richard Harris, Amy Davis, okay? We've got the property address, legal description, and we've got the partial ID number, and then we've got the legal description at the bottom. Something that you guys must add here is washer and dryer. This brings a lot of problems to our realtors because, see, if I'm a seller and I've got these nice, beautiful stainless steel just bought, washer and dryer, and you don't put it in there, I'm figuring you bought some really nice washer and dryers, and you're going to bring your own. You're going to bring your own from your rental property or from your other home. So I don't think you really need it. So if the seller takes the washer and dryer, did they do something wrong? No, the buyer's agent, forgot to write it in there. And take photos as well too. Take photos of the washer and dryer that they've got in there. And take photos of everything that you want that's in there, okay? If anything's to be excluded, it'll be here. Oh, you took that off a sec. Oh, not on? Sorry. Here, just give us a sec. Yeah, because I can see it over there, but no ayuda. Every single line has a number, it's numbered on the left side, right? The ones that are extremely important, they have a little asterisk. Look at this. There's an asterisk. There's an asterisk. There's an asterisk, right? Why do you think Florida realtors, if they put an asterisk there, that means what? It's important. So it needs to get filled out. It needs to get filled out. Not for nothing. Listing agents that have a lot of experience and sellers, if someone sends in 2 offers and one offer is partially filled out and one offer is completely filled out perfectly, then me as a listing agent, I'm going to look at both of these offers and I think I'm going to go with this one. You know why? Because they know what they're doing. So don't leave these contracts unfilled out. Fill them out properly and accurately. Okay? So let's go down. Using example $410,000, we're going to put $2,000 in escrow, but...
Back.
Se fue otra vez. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it showing up on camera, George? Do you know? If it, on camera it is. Sorry, guys. It's there. For some reason, it's not, our connection's not really good here. For some reason. But, and, yeah, I am so sorry. We're just having a little bit of technical problems there. Darn it. Yeah. But everything that has an asterisk to it, that means it needs to be filled out. Okay? That you cannot leave it just in blank. And even if you're going to leave it in blank, put an NA or something like that. We got many classes on how to fill out an as-is contract. We got many classes. So, see right here. Oops. We'll have to bring the espresso guy one more time to come and make another round. Then I'll keep you guys here for another 4 hours. So on number 28, right? On number 28, we checked off right here. You don't need an escrow deposit up front because you don't even know if they're going to accept your offer or not. So let's check this off right here, this box, and then we're going to make it within 3 days. Okay? So here is, you know that partnership title and escrow, we are still the same company, and now we also own title partners. That's what you guys have on top of your desk right there that you're looking at. So we have a brand new office manager. You have a brand new office manager, and I got rid of her. Did I get rid of her? I sure did. Wonder why I got rid of her. Here she is. This is what you guys have. Anna's right there. There is a brand new team. We have office in Miami Lakes. We've got them in Fort Lauderdale. We've got them here in West Palm. We've got them in St. Augustine and in Orlando. And we could do a closing anywhere, internationally or domestically, okay? Anna's right there. We have a brand new team for escrow, and everything remains the same. So you guys have a copy there. But let's go back here to our contract. So it's already pre-filled in. Title partners are West Palm Beach. Anna's information's there, and just bring over the or have your client bring over the the escrow deposit, or they can wire it in. We'll assist you with everything that you need. So I'm doing an FHA loan here. So 3.5% of $410,000. The loan amount is $495,600. Okay, so that means that if the client already provided $2,000, they only need to bring $12,400. But look at this. Here's the acceptance dates, guys. See it here? Remember July 12th, like we did right here? July 12th, the acceptance date. And now we're going to go to the closing date. Here's the closing date, August 14th. Same thing as here. Closing date, August 14th. So is this document here important? Yeah. This is what fills out the as-is contract. Even if you don't use this document, you still have to write it down on a piece of paper. Okay? So let's keep going here. I'm not going to go into the as-is contract completely. You guys can watch this class online or watch any of other as-is contract. Today we're mostly talking about contract laws, financing laws, and things like that. Always put down may not assign. Always put down may not assign. Make sure that that does not stay blank. So may not assign. And look at this, 84. There's an asterisk next to it. It's got to be important. So remember the 25 days on the 7 most important dates right here, 25 days. Then you want to come here if it's a FHA, if it's a conventional, or if it's a VA loan. In this case, I'm using FHA. Put down fix. Now, the next one here is market. You can either put CURR for current or put MKT for market, whatever the interest rates are. Listen, guys, we are realtors. We are not loan officers. That's between who? The client and their financial institution. So you just put in their market, okay? Do not put an interest rate in there, guys. You guys are not loan officers. And then come down here and put 30 days. Put 30 days for, 30 years for the actual loan. So it's going to be a 30-year amortized loan. Then you're going to come down here to 87 and put done. Now make sure when you talk on the pre-approval letter, make sure that when you call up, make sure that they have provided everything. What is everything? Please write this down if you want. You're going to ask them, sir, ma'am, folks, whoever the loan officer is, have you looked at their credit report? Is their credit score adequate? And does it meet the loan criteria that you chose for them, the loan program that you chose for them? You didn't ask how much. You didn't ask what the credit score was at no time. What you asked was, did their credit score meet the loan criteria per the loan program you chose for them? Okay. You want to find out, did you see the tax returns? Did you see the bank statements? Did you see the pay stubs? Now, what happens in all of these questions that you ask, and if it is no, I have not seen the bank statements, or I haven't seen the tax returns. Do you really have an accurate pre-approval or not? Heck no. Oh no, he's bringing in the loan commitment. I'm sorry, the tax returns on Saturday. Okay, so I would suggest wait, because if not, if you go into contract, you are putting that client's money at risk. Got it? Please, if there are any questions on that one, please ask me. This is the time, not afterwards when you're like, you're like panicking that they're threatening to take your license, to sue you, and so forth and so forth. This is the time to ask. So once all of those items have been brought into the loan officer, then I can put, listen, it's been done, and they've done what's called a DU, a desktop underwriting. That means that's the software that Fannie Mae's got, where the loan officer is going to plug all that into their computer, and they're going to give them a DU. You can also ask for that DU. Not only is the pre-approval good, but the DU, along with the pre-approval, will make the listing agent and the seller feel more comfortable by accepting your offer. Did you guys get that one? That one's important. Ask for the DU. All right, let's keep going here. Most of the stuff that I'm going to hurdle through right here, I just want you guys at home to not hurdle through it. Seriously. Are you guys going to take real estate as a career, or are you just going to I just want to say I have a real estate license? Okay, fine, perfect, good for you. Don't start practicing real estate, man. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get someone in trouble, including yourself. So don't do what I'm doing right now, hurdling through this. This is something that you guys need to read it. It's really self-explanatory. And then it's going to be the same as is contract always. So please read it and go through it. How long could this actually take you to read? 45 minutes at home? Seriously, if you don't have 45 minutes to have a successful real estate career, then I will be questioning myself. Okay? So, title of evidence. It already says 15 here. But go ahead, don't leave it blank. Put 15 in there. Okay? So that means that the title policy, that we're going to show that we have a clear title policy and so forth. Let's come here and keep going. You guys are going to read all this tonight. I know you promised me. Yes. We'll do finger promises afterwards. Okay. So go through all this here. This is just in case right here, if the property is in a flood zone. Now, have you guys been to these properties that I've gone to them? When it rains, you need a freaking canoe. No, wait. You need a canoe to get the frick out of. I mean, if you don't have one of those four-wheel drives that they've got those big monster tires, are about this tall, you're not going to the grocery store. God forbid you get sick. Have you been to those communities? Well, there's a few of them. Okay? And I've been to some gorgeous homes. I've been to some gorgeous homes that, in fact, I was looking at buying one, gated community. Oh my God, fantastic. What a great deal. I go, oh my God, like an investor, I go, I want that property. So I went there. Thank goodness that we live in South Florida and it rains here, every other hour. Some days we might go through like 1 or 2 days without rain, but it rains here like almost every other hour. Man, when I got out there, it was in such a lowland, the flood zone, the water, right, came into the pool, to the deck around the pool. My kids would not be able to play outside, or the pet. Are you serious? Your pet's not going to be able to enjoy that 5-acre parcel of land or that 1-acre parcel of land. They're not going to be able to enjoy it unless they have a swimsuit on, and unless they've got boots and stuff like that, and still it's not going to be a comfortable, Yeah, so if it's in a flood zone, that's what this here is about, okay? Inspection period. Me personally, I like 5 days. Why? Because we have a really good inspection company here, and he gets out there and he gets it done quickly. But at least 7 days, guys, right? 5 to 7 days. Let's keep going here. Remember, guys, you guys did pinky swear at me that you're reading all this tonight. So let's take a look here. We're going to keep going. And They added one more here. Okay, so you need to put in an addendums. We have homeowners association. We have an FHA. Guys, you guys can actually sign these FHA clauses, these addendums, okay? You don't need to send it to me. You can actually sign it. So here they are. These are the riders, or they're called the addendums. And so you're going to put in here, this is already here, the close all expired permits, violations, and so forth. And you're also going to put here, buyer or buyers to pay Partnership Realty, whatever, your transaction fee is at closing. Okay, this is the place to put it. Now, there's also another spot to put it, and it's up here where it says buyers' closing costs. Sellers, here we go. So you've got costs to be paid by seller, if you represent the seller, or costs to be paid by buyer. See it right here? Transaction fee of whatever it is. Whatever your transaction fee, you're going to put it there too. Okay? So that is on line, what, 154. Look at it. Is it starred? It is starred. So I guess it's important. But let's go down here. We're going to finish with this contract, which just added on. There is a document that I really want you guys to, have signed when we're using with foreign nationals. It's already uploaded into our packages under buyer and seller. It's already uploaded in there. And it's this portion right here. Get to read it. I prefer you guys to read it, correct? Read it at home and get familiarized with this here. This has to do mostly with foreign nationals. I just wish you guys would get, I don't want to get into details about this. But you guys, I mean, it's pretty, very, very self-explanatory. And what is the document that they're signing? Right here. If you guys want more details about this here, you could always reach who? Me. Come and see me, and I will be glad and super, super glad to go over this with you, okay? So just to finalize our class here today, really important. You know there's seven most important dates already, right? And it has this contract. This is the document right here. You already saw it. The effective date. You guys know what the effective date is, right? Here's something about the effective date that you must know. The effective date is not effective with the signature. Are we clear on this here? If there are any changes and there are initials, that is the effective date. And the initial must have what? The date next to it. So if there's an initial, there should be a date. Now, what if you guys were negotiating this between, to both parties, and you've got a brand new effective date 4 days later, 5 days later? Do you need to change the closing dates and all the other dates? Yes, because you got a brand new effective date.
Yeah.
Do we get this? Because if not, you took 5 days away from the loan commitment period, and you took 5 days away from the closing date. So if there is a brand new effective date, we're changing what? Everything. And the effective date is on the as-is contract, not on a rider, not on an addendum. And anytime there is an initial, what goes next to the initial? The date. Thank you. Okay. Bylaws, we went over that in great details. But here's the great part about this. This class is recorded. So you got, and this is the reason I'm putting this through here. So you guys can actually view this class again this evening or this weekend or whenever you want. This class is recorded. The addendums, we put it in there already, okay? Inspections, we went over that. But I'm leaving it here so you guys can actually watch this at home once again, because I know it's a lot to consume in such a short period of time. Well, inspection date. For me, I like 5 days, truly. What happens if you get an investor and says to you, I'm buying it as is, I don't want any inspection done whatsoever? Then inside our buyer's package, under our forms packages that I showed you guys in the beginning of this class, how to get to it, at the very bottom it says a inspection waiver. Should you get that signed? Heck yes. Okay? Because if the buyer is an investor, like I am, like I do buy properties sometimes, and I want it, I don't even go inside the property. I just see it from the outside. I go, I'll take it. Okay? If you get a buyer that says to you, I don't want an inspection. This is going to be a zero date. It's going to be a zero date on it. What are you guys going to get signed? It's in the buyer's package all the way down, and it's going to be it's called an inspection waiver. Please just don't have them sign it. Can you please fill it out? It takes you less than a minute to fill out, okay? HOA applications, did we go over this? 1 million GBs percent, okay? CTC, we went over this completely. The only reason I'm putting all this again, so you guys can brief through this again. And it just gives you a recap on this class. Okay, and you guys know how important this is. That here, the loan commitment date, you guys know how I feel about that one. That's a big one. Should we know about financing? Heck yes is the word. Okay, and then here's your closing date. Extremely important. Now, let's finish off with this. The class ends here, all right? Should you do a walkthrough prior or after the closing? Have you heard of realtors ever doing the walkthrough after the closing? Yes, I have. Have you heard of realtors having brain damage after the closing because they did the walkthrough after the closing? Yes, I have. People left their junk in there. They haven't taken it out. Well, guess what? We're not signing at closing. We asked you for a clean property to be inside. No one asked you to leave that transmission in there. You replaced the refrigerator. You replaced the dishwasher, you replaced the washer and dryer. Should that be a walkthrough prior or after the closing? And we also have a walkthrough form that you could have signed. Does it go inside your file or not? Yes, it does. Should you ask for Google reviews? Guys, ask for Google reviews. I signed today a referral agreement. Oh, referral agreement here to you, right? Now, do you know if you have a client or a family member, friend, or co-worker or someone, and they're buying up in California, they're buying up in Nebraska, they're buying in Chicago, they're buying, I don't care, Texas, right? How are you going to find the right realtor for them in that zip code? You're going to Google them. So why should it not be vice versa? If you don't ask for Google reviews, no one will know you. So if there's someone in freaking California and they want a realtor in 33461 because they have a client here, guess who they're going to call? They're going to call the realtor who is getting Google reviews, who is doing all the right steps, identical to what you just did. You just got a really nice referral. And the clients from Florida, the other agencies from Florida?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes they're from Florida, sometimes they're from some other states. Okay? So, guys, you must ask for Google reviews. Okay? Testimonials. You did the testimonial. You did your closing the other day. Who pushed you to do that testimonial? Who pushed you? Who was the one who told you that you had to do it? You must do it. What, me? Me. Right. I could have let you just walk away. I just could have let you walk you away, but you don't understand. You are losing there. You're losing there. You're losing there. Testimonials, reviews, they're seen. We put this through all over the world. This is seen worldwide. Okay, there you go. Thank you. She just did when did you do your testimonial? A couple days ago?
Last Friday.
Oh, it was last Friday? But how many times did I push you to do it?
No, he told me the day before.
I went and got the guys. I brought them in.
Yeah.
Guys, every time you do a closing, whether it's a rental or whether it's a sale, do a testimonial.
Right here.
Absolutely. And you know how much I'm going to charge you guys for the testimonial? She doesn't know it yet. I'll send her the invoice. It's only $695. I bet you didn't know that one, right? You forgot $695. See, you didn't read. You did not read the fine print. They're free.
Yeah, I know.
Why would you not want to do a testimonial? It's free. You got the professional camera crew here. You got these guys that are, these guys are professionals. They are, they're the best.
I did it in Spanish, so I wanted to
Do it in Spanish, do it in English, do it in both languages. If you speak Portuguese, do it in Portuguese. French, do it in French. Do it in Creole, do it in whatever language. I don't know, guys. It's totally up to you. I'm giving you guys tips. Social media is huge, okay? Do your short videos with them and so forth, you know. You guys need to close out that property. If you're the listing agent, you need to close that property out, that listing report within 2 days. Now, what? You did, perfect. Okay, what if you are the buyer's agent? That listing agent needs to close it out within 2 days. Okay? You need to be on top of them, send them an email. Can you please close it out? And they see MLS wants accuracy. Because out of accuracy, we've got appraisals, we've got market analysis, we've got report. The entire US of A in the world evolves around what? Accuracy. Okay? So MLS is huge, huge in compliance with this here. You need to be recognized as the buyer's agent.
No, it was the seller, the listing agent.
Right, but I didn't mean you. I meant, I'm talking in general to people that are watching, okay? So make sure they recognize you, okay? A listing agent, if you're the buyer's agent, cannot close it out that he was the buyer's agent as well, too. He violated all types of rules with MLS compliance, okay? So don't let that happen, okay? And I don't know, but you know, everything else here, just email us. We're a paperless industry. Send it to us. This one here, sorry, I apologize. I thought I had, that was the last one. This was super important as well too. I get a lot of cash buyers, investor friends of mine. And you guys will too. And these cash buyers will go, nope, I don't want a buyer's title policy. What a huge monster. Look at the word I'm using. Because there a bigger word than monster? Help me with a bigger word if you can think of anything that you could assist me with this here. A title policy is what secures the property that you're buying and the money that you're investing. If you're putting in $100,000, that is the end of the world to somebody. $100,000, it's $100 million to somebody else. $100,000 is $500,000, $5 million to somebody else, okay? But you know what secures that $100,000, or wait, that $1 million deal, transaction you just bought, that $5 million, that $10 million deal is called a buyer's title policy. The people that are buying in the millions, they know that they must get a buyer's title policy at closing. Now, you need to educate your buyers on this here. There is a lender's title policy. Now, a lender is going to lend, let's say you're doing an FHA loan, right? FHA is what, 3.5%? Or conventional 3%, 5%? The client's putting down very little minimum money, right? Who's putting the big money down? The lender. So why does the lender want a lender's title policy? Because they want to be secured. They want their money to be secured. But why would you, as a buyer, even if they're putting 3% down, or 3.5% or 5% down, why would a buyer not want to have a buyer's title policy? First of all, things can happen, and things do happen a great deal. HOA issues, title policy issues. Here, we had one just last week. Where the title company missed it. They actually missed it that there is the public water is right down the street, and it's mandatory that they must connect. And it was actually here in Palm Beach County, I think it's like $8,500. But this is up in Port St. Lucie, it's only $6,000. But still, can you imagine you being my buyer, and now you find out that you got to come up with $6,000? Boy, you'd be upset. Okay? There are so many things, violations, there are so many things that can come up. What actually protects the buyer is called the buyer's title policy, not the lender's title policy. It says it very clear there. That lender's title policy is to cover who? The lender. So make sure when you represent the buyer that you request a buyer's title policy. It's a simultaneous policy anyway, so there's a discount for that. But that protects the clients. I mean, I've seen so many cash buyers that have said, oh my God, I don't want a title policy. I go, are you crazy? Now you want a title policy. That's what's going to protect your, it's title insurance. That's what's going to protect your money, because things come up 8 months down the road, 2 years down the road, 10 months down the road. So please, guys, protect them, because last week alone we dealt with the and the first question was, can you take a look at the can you send me your CD, or take a look at the CD and see if there was a buyer's title policy in there? That's the first question I'm going to ask you. Oh no, there's no. Well, this wasn't the case. But imagine you tell me, oh no, there's not a buyer's title policy in there. Now what are you going to do? See what I mean? Buyer's title policies are very, very important. Okay, not lenders. Lenders is for the lender. Okay.
That is it mandatory, or it's up to them to
Listen, it's not mandatory, but I protect you. If you're my buyer, what do you think my job is? To protect you. That is my job. I'm a professional. I am licensed by DBPR. I do my job very well. Been doing it for 25 years, over 25 years with this company. So I'm going to do my job perfectly. Why? Because I depend very much on referrals and so forth, because I am here to protect you. Now, I do get compensated afterwards. We all do. All of us do. There's not a line of work that doesn't get compensated, okay? But we need to do our jobs correctly. So remember, I don't care if this is for finance or if it's cash, all right? Buyer's title policy. Think about it. So thank you very much for the class.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at the lunch. We've got lunch there in a little bit. Yeah, so, and guys, have a great one. See you at the next one.